Hello guys and welcome back sa ating bago na namang series which is Law on Sales this time. So tayo ay mag-uumpisa sa chapter 1 at yun nga, pag-aaralan natin kung ano ba yung nature ng isang contract of sales. Okay? So bago ang lahat, please subscribe to our channel para mas maging updated kayo sa ating mga releases. Okay? So umpisahan natin. Okay? Ang lesson natin for today, which is the nature on sales, will be divided into three major topics. So, number one, we will define what is a contract of sale. Pangalawa, aalamin natin yung mga different essential characteristics. So, yun. And lastly, we will compare a contract of sale to other types of contracts. Okay. So, kung hindi nyo pa alam or hindi nyo pa napag-aralan kung ano nga ba ang contracts, law on contracts. So I suggest na pag-aralan nyo or panoorin nyo ang aming series regarding contracts. Okay? So yung link po ay nasa description po natin. Okay? So let's start. Okay. Unahin muna natin yung definition of sale. So how do we define sale? Okay? So it is a contract whereby one of the contracting parties, which is the seller, obligates himself to transfer the ownership and to deliver the possession of a determinate thing, and the other party, which is the buyer, obligates himself to pay, okay, therefore a price certain in money or its equivalent. Okay, so ayan, based sa ating definition, pag-aaralan natin tong mga ito. Okay? So, yun po ang definition ng isang contract. And furthermore, para mas maintindihan pa natin ang ibig sabihin ng isang contract of sale, pag-aaralan natin tong apat na subtopics na ito. Number one, the nature and obligations na nabubuo sa isang contract of sale. Number two, the subject matter of a sale, which is a determinate thing, nabanggit natin kanina sa definition. Pangatlo, the elements of a contract of sale, which is basically the same lang sa elements ng isang contract in general. And lastly, the different stages in the life of a contract of sale. Okay? So, unahin natin yung 1.1.1 nature and obligations created, or, di ba, what do you call this? Nature and the obligations created in a contract of sale. So, what are the obligations na nabubuo nga ba sa isang contract of sale? Actually, nabanggit na rin siya sa definition. Okay, so wag niyong baliwalain yun, yung nabanggit sa definition, dahil very important yun. Maya-maya, i-emphasize natin yung talagang kung bakit nga ba significant itong mga to. So, una, syempre, kung maalala nyo, in a contract or an obligation, meron tayong dalawang parties, namely the active subject and the passive subject. However, dito specifically sa isang contract of sale, ang tawag natin sa dalawang parties na yun ay the seller or yung nagbebenta and the buyer or yung bumibili. Okay? Kapag si seller or kapag pinag-usapan natin si seller, ang major obligations niya within a contract of sale ay number one, to transfer the ownership. Okay? And pangalawa, to deliver the possession. Okay? So, very simple lang, di ba? Transfer of ownership and delivery of the subject matter na pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, magre-raise tayo dyan ng mga different questions such as, pwede bang, let's say, mag-transfer ng ownership kung hindi ka owner? Or pwede ka bang magbenta ng hindi mo pangmamayari? Okay? Actually, meron tayong mga exemptions doon, di ba? Wherein generally, kailangan ikaw yung owner bago mo maibenta ang isang bagay. Okay? However, may mga certain exemptions to the cases wherein kahit na hindi mo pagmamay-ari ang isang bagay, meron kang right to sell that specific thing. Okay? And syempre, nandyan din yung delivery, which is very important. Maya-maya, bakit nga ba meron pa yan yung delivery? Or syempre, physically or naturally, parang kumbaga, kailangan talaga i-deliver, di ba? Kasi nga, siya na ang magiging bagong may-ari ng bagay na yun, which is a buyer. So, kailangan mong i-deliver yung possession. Pero ano nga ba ang nagiging effect ng delivery? Okay? So, and last, okay, we have the buyer na magbabayad ng price. At nabanggit natin kanina, usually, ang price po ay in terms of money. However, may mga certain exemptions tayo na hindi kailangang in money, okay? Or pera. Okay, ang pambayad ng price. Okay? So next, pag-usapan natin ang subject matter of a sale. Okay. Nabanggit natin kanina na ang subject matter of a sale is or must be determinate. So, kapag binalikan natin ang ating law on obligations, okay, mababanggit natin or 'di ba? Meron dalawang uri ng bagay. We have a generic thing and we also have a specific or determinate thing, okay? So, paano mo siya masasabing determinate? Number one, it is particularly designated, or pangalawa, it is physically segregated. Ibig sabihin, talagang yun, yung bagay na yun, hindi natin, kumbaga walang katulad, okay? Siya lang yun, okay? Kunwari, pera, okay? Kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung pera, yung bills, okay? Merong, ano yun, merong, what do you call this? Yung serial number. So, walang, unless peke, di ba? Walang katulad yon. For example, yung isang specific bill ng 20 pesos, walang katulad yon na serial number. Ganon din sa mga certain things such as yung mga bagay-bagay na merong serial number, 'di ba? For example, mga devices such as cellphone, laptop, meron pong mga unique serial number na yan. So, yung mga serial number na yan, specifically ma-identify natin at magiging determinate yan, yung bagay na yan kapag nabanggit siya sa isang contract, kapag nabanggit yung mga ganyan, such as serial number para maging specific yung bagay na yun. Kung sa kotse naman, for example, di ba, tawag dito, kung sa kotse naman, yung plate number usually, di ba, or yung mayroon din mga tayong tinatawag na mga chassis number sa makina, mga ganun, pero hindi ako masyadong familiar doon. Pero ang pinaka yung plate number, dahil ang ini-issue sa mga sasakyan ay unique. Okay? Unique yung mga plate number po natin. Unless peke nga ulit yung plate number na yun. Okay? Ganun din, may mga certain times na, for example, pinag-uusapan natin ay hayop, S sells B, his dog, parang ganun. Okay? Usually, ang nagpapa-determinate doon is yung kapag binanggit mo yung pangalan ng specific dog na yun. Or kapag only dog lang yun, at nabanggit sa problem na only dog lang. Okay? So, yun yung mga bagay na nagpapa-determinate sa isang bagay usually. Okay? So, magbigay tayo ng example. How about this? Okay? Kasi sabi natin, ang subject matter of a sale must be determinate. Okay? So, bawal ba na generic? Okay? Oo nga, no? Okay. Nabanggit kasi sa isang specific article, specifically 1458 ata yun. So, balikan nyo na lang. Okay? So, tingnan natin tong example. S sells cell phones online. One day, B bought a cell phone from him. B paid S online through GCash. Okay? Ang tanong, is the sale valid? Is the cell phone generic or specific? Okay. So, ganito. Kung titingnan natin, based sa problem, nagbebenta siya ng cellphone. Okay? So, let's say, isang uri lang ng cellphone. Let's say, iPhone 12. Lahat ng binebenta niya na cellphone, iPhone 12 lang. Okay? Pero maraming iPhone 12. Hindi lang isa. Marami. Kasi nagbebenta siya araw-araw. Okay? At marami siyang customer, for example. Okay. So, ang nangyari is, bumili si B ng iPhone 12 kay S. Okay? Pero pag iPhone 12 itself, di ba, pag pakikinggan nyo or kapag i-recall nyo yung napag-aralan natin sa law on obligations, yun ba ay generic or specific? Di ba? At that moment na binanggit na bibili daw si B ng iPhone 12 or parang bibili pa lang o mo-order pa lang kay S, generic pa yun. Di ba? Generic pa yun. Okay? Generic pa yun. Okay? Pero, ang tanong, valid ba ang sale? Valid ba itong sale na to? The answer is yes, valid itong sale na to. Valid po itong sale na to. Pero, bakit magiging valid? Sabi ng civil code, ganito, determinate dapat yung subject matter natin in the contract of sale. Actually, not necessarily determinate siya at any given moment. Okay? So, ganito yan, yung requirement ng civil code na magiging determinate dapat daw yung subject matter of a sale, ay syempre hindi naman parang kumbaga required sa whole life nung tinatawag nating contract, okay? Sa parang kumbaga stages, sa lahat ng stages required siya na determinate. Okay? Kailangan lang na at the time of delivery, okay, magiging determinate na siya. Ang tanong, pag i-deliver na ba ni S kay B yung cellphone, magiging determinate na ba yung cellphone? Yes, magiging determinate na siya. Bakit? Through, physical segregation. Okay? From the rest of the iPhone 12 na binebenta niya, kukuha siya ng isa. Okay? Kukuha siya ng isa, ipapack niya yun, siguro iano niya sa LBC or kung anong klase, kung anong courier service na yan, tapos ipapadala kay B, di ba? Okay, so at that moment naging determinate yung cellphone. Okay, so ang tanong, is the sale valid? Yes, absolutely. Is the cellphone generic or specific? Okay, parang sasagutin natin yung tanong na yan ng another question din, kasi kailan? Okay, kailan, di ba? Nung na-perfect yung contract, hindi pa siya determinate. Pero nung i-deliver na ni S yung cellphone, doon na siya magiging determinate. Okay? Doon na siya magiging determinate. Kasi nag-order lang naman si B. Hindi naman pinakita specifically ni S na ito yung cellphone na bibilihin mo sa akin at ito yung i-deliver ko. So at the time of perfection, hindi pa siya determinate. Generic pa siya. Pero it doesn't change the fact na magkakaroon tayo ng valid sale. Dahil soon to be, magiging determinate din naman yung subject matter natin. Okay? So, ganun po yung concept ng pagiging determinate ng isang subject matter of a sale. So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Okay? Hindi po necessarily na sa lahat ng stages of a contract, whether sa negotiation, sa perfection, di ba? Parang kumbaga, hindi required na sa lahat ng stages na yun, determinate na kaagad yung subject matter natin. So, pwede, ang required lang, maging determinate siya at the time na i-deliver na. Okay, ni seller. Yun ang pinaka-importante doon. Okay, dahil kung hindi niya magawang determinate yung bagay na yun, during delivery, it's equivalent to not having a subject matter, kasi ibig sabihin wala silang parang kumbaga napagkasunduan in the first place, if ever. Ganun, di ba? Okay. So next, elements of a contract of sale. So nabanggit ko kanina na yun nga, meron tayong mga different elements of a contract of sale, at ito ay pareho lamang din po sa elements of a contract in general, which is the consent, the subject matter or the object, and the price certain or the cost. Diba? Nabanggit natin. Pero specifically, ginamit na natin yung term dito na price. Dahil ang cost in a contract of sale ay price specifically. Okay? Price specifically. Okay? So, meron tayong another example ulit. Okay? So, S sells, actually, ito rin lang yung kanina. S sells cell phones online. One day, B bought a phone from him. B paid S online through GCash. After several days, B didn't receive the cell phone. In this case, B is asking for refund on the ground that the sale is invalid. Is B correct? Okay. So, ganito. By applying the elements of a contract, 'di ba? Kapag nabuo na kasi, kapag nakumpleto yung different elements na yan, yung consent, subject matter, and the price, at that moment, perfected na yung sale. Okay? So, ang tanong dito is B correct na invalid daw yung sale kaya ipapa-refund niya? Okay, actually, B is half correct dahil, first of all, actually, may chance na pwede niya ngang ma-refund yan. Okay? Depending on the different remedies na available para sa kanya. Okay? Pero, ang mali dyan is yung reason kung bakit niya pwedeng ma-refund, which is invalid daw. The answer is hindi po invalid yung contract. Actually, the contract is already valid. At the moment na, yun nga, nagkasundo sila, di ba? Which is the consent. Nagkasundo sila with regards to a subject matter and the price of that subject matter. So, at that moment, kompleto na or perfected na yung tinatawag nating contract of sale. Okay? Pero, hindi po yun yung kumbaga magiging reason kung bakit pwedeng makapag-ask ng refund itong si B. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yun sa specific, what do you call this? Example. Okay? So, next, punta tayo sa stages in a life of a contract of sale. So, same as with a contract in general, we have negotiation, also called preparation or policitation. Dahil, di ba, nakikipag-negotiate pa or gumagawa pa lang ng mga unaccepted promises itong mga, mga parties sa ating contract na ito. We also, okay. Pangalawa, we have perfection or the time of the birth or the conception or the birth of the contract. Okay? That's the time na binding na yung contract natin. Okay? Once na perfected siya. And lastly, we have the consummation or death. Ibig sabihin, tapos na lahat ng ating mga obligations within that contract. So, for example, in a contract of sale, kapag nabayaran na yung price and then na-deliver na yung subject matter, tapos wala nang ibang other obligation, okay, consummated na yung contract natin, or death nga, death. Okay? Excuse me? Okay. Alright, next. We have, okay, so, essential characteristics naman. Punta tayo sa essential characteristics ng isang contract of sale. Okay, so, isummarize muna natin yung mga different essential characteristics. So, number 1, we have nominate and principal, yung isang contract of sale. Pangalawa, ito po ay consensual. Pangatlo, ito rin ay bilateral and reciprocal. Pangapat, onerous. Panglima, commutative. And lastly, sale is title and not mode, pero maya-maya natin explain yan kung ano nga bang ibig sabihin yan. Okay? So, umpisa natin sa nominate and principal, which is magiging very simple lang ito para sa inyo if kayo po ay nanood na ng ating Law on Contracts series, 'di ba? So, link on the description, tingnan niyo na lang. Okay, so pag sinabi nating nominate ang isang contract of sale, ibig sabihin, itong contract of sale kasi meron siyang particular name given by law, which is, yun nga, tulad ng nabanggit natin, ito ay isang contract of sale. Okay, so yun ang pangalan niya, sale. Okay, pero kung maalala nyo, kapag binalikan natin yung contracts, may mga tinatawag din tayong innominate contracts or mga walang particular name given by law. So, these are divided into 4 categories. Kung maalala nyo, yung do ut des, do ut facias, facio ut des, fascio at fascias, kung maalala nyo yung 4 na yun. Okay, yun yung mga I give that you may give, I give that you may do, I do that you may do, I do that you may give. Okay, pero hindi na natin ifo-focus yun this time. Okay, next, principal din siya dahil siya po ay pwedeng, okay, kumbaga mag-stand on its own. Meaning, hindi niya po kailangan ng iba pang kontrata in order for it to exist. Okay, ang kabaliktaran kasi ng isang principal contract is yung tinatawag nating accessory contract, wherein, di ba, hindi siya pwedeng mag-exist kapag walang kontrata na nakadepende siya. Okay? So, for example, contract of loan is a principal contract, pero yung mga accessory contract na nakadepende sa isang contract of loan ay, for example, yung mga contract of mortgage, contract of pledge, di ba? Contract of guarantee. Okay? Hindi po mag-exist yung mga certain contract na yun dahil kailangan nila nung principal contract na contract of loan. Okay? So, ang contract of sale, kaya niya pong mag-stand on its own. Okay? It can stand on its own and does not depend on another contract for its validity or existence. Okay? Next, the contract is consensual. Okay? Bakit sa consensual? Dahil it is perfected by mere consent with regards to the subject matter and the price. Okay? May mga certain, pa tayo, mga, for example, kapag hindi consensual ang contract, pwede itong maging real contract or pwede rin itong maging formal or solemn contract. Anong ibig sabihin ng mga yon? In addition to the cause, consent, object, cause na essential requisite, kailangan pa ng other requisites such as delivery kapag real contracts ang pinag-uusapan natin. At kapag solemn contract naman, we talk about the formalities required by law such as being in a public document or being registered to the registry of deeds or whatsoever, di ba? So, yun yung mga formalities na kailangan sa mga certain contracts na yun. Okay? Next. Okay. What are the modalities that affect the consensuality of sale? Okay, so hindi ko rin nabanggit sa inyo kanina pala. Although generally ang isang contract of sale ay isang consensual contract, may mga certain instances na ang contract of sale po natin ay hindi, parang kumbaga hindi siya magiging enforceable or hindi siya magiging valid. Okay? Kung wala itong mga certain Okay, mga certain additional requisites na ito. Okay? May mga certain tinatawag nating modalities na nakaka-affect sa consensual characteristic or yung effect mismo ng sale. Okay? Dahil sa mga modalities na ito, such as yung mga tinatawag nating pagkakaroon ng suspensive term or condition, which is later on, pag-uusapan natin yung mga yan. Okay? Yung mga different modalities na yan. Especially kapag nakarating na tayo sa mga, tawag dito, mga redemption. Okay? Conventional legal redemption. Okay, next, 1.2.3, we have bilateral and reciprocal. Pag sinabi po nating bilateral ang isang contract, ibig sabihin, both of the parties have obligations to comply, di ba? Or to fulfill, okay, towards each other, parang ganun, okay? Pag sinabi naman nating reciprocal, isa po yung uri ng isang bilateral contract wherein kapag na-fulfill na ng isang party yung kanyang obligation, kailangan i-fulfill na rin ng kabilang party yung kanyang obligation. Ibig sabihin, kailangan yung fulfillment ng mga obligation ng bawat party must be simultaneous. Okay? Yun po yung effect nun. Okay? Okay, so ito naman, mga tatlo, ito yung mga, kumbaga, characteristic or pwedeng maging effect ng isang bilateral and reciprocal contract. Okay. Number 1, the power to rescind is implied, and such power need not be stipulated in the contract in order for the innocent party to invoke the remedy. So for example, okay, dahil nga ang isang contract of sale ay bilateral and reciprocal, so tulad nung napag-usapan natin kanina na example, yung bumili online ng cellphone tapos hindi nag-comply yung isa, which is kailangan niyang i-deliver at the moment na, 'di ba, binayad mo dahil for example, wala na pag-usapang term. So, reciprocal, magte-take effect yung reciprocal characteristic ng contract of sale natin. Ibig sabihin, at that moment na nagbayad na si buyer, dapat i-deliver niya na rin. Kaso hindi niya deliver after ilang weeks, hindi niya pa rin dinideliver. So, sabi nga dito, in a bilateral and a reciprocal contract, the power to rescind is implied. So, pwede niyang ipa-refund yun, ipa-rescind yung contract, pero it doesn't mean that the contract in the first place is invalid. Okay, it is a valid contract pero subject to rescission. Okay, next, neither party incurs delay if the other party does not comply or is not ready to comply in a proper manner with what is incumbent upon him. So kapag hindi pa nagbayad, okay, so wala ka pa ring obligation to deliver kapag hindi pa nagbabayad. Okay, pero syempre yung rule na yan, mag-a-apply lang siya, inuulit ko, kapag walang napag-usapang terms. Okay? Dahil parang kumbaga general rule tong pagiging bilateral and reciprocal. Okay? Meaning, kapag walang nabanggit ng mga terms, such as, for example, pagka-deliver, you have 1 week to pay. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hindi na reciprocal yung specific contract of sale na yun dahil merong specific term na kumbaga, obligated kang magbayad or obliged kang magbayad after, parang kumbaga, after 1 week. Parang ganun, di ba? Okay, pero kung walang mga ganong terms, reciprocal po ang ating contract of sale. Next, from the moment one party fulfills the obligation, the default by the other begins without the need of prior demand. Okay? So, very, hindi po nag-apply dito yung tinatawag nating general rule na no demand, no delay. Okay? So, hindi po kailangan ng demand para magkaroon ng tinatawag nating, what do you call this, delay on the part of someone na hindi pa nagko-comply, whereas yung isa nag-comply na. Kunwari, nagbayad na ako, pero hindi mo pa rin dinideliver, ibig sabihin, may delay na sa part mo kahit na hindi ako mag-demand ng delivery. Okay? So, next we have onerous. Okay, meaning merong valuable consideration. Okay? So, specifically yung price na pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? Siguro alam nyo naman ang kabaliktaran ng onerous, which is gratuitous, wherein walang valuable consideration such as mga donation, di ba? Kapag dinonate mo ang isang specific property, walang kapalit po yun. Okay? Next, we have commutative. So, what is commutative? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng commutative? Okay? So, a thing of value is exchanged for equal value. Ideally, the value of the subject matter is equivalent to the price paid. Yun po ay ideally. Yes, tama. Okay? Pero we have a certain case. Okay? S wants to sell his laptop because he needed money. S thinks that a fair price for the laptop would be 10,000. B bought the laptop for the said amount. S later found out the market value or the market for a fair price of the laptop is 20,000. Thus, this situation violates this essential characteristic of a contract of sale. Okay. So, sabi natin kasi commutative, subject matter equivalent to the price paid. Kaso, binanggit lang natin dyan, ideally, okay, pero kalahati ito eh. Okay, kalahati ito. Pero actually, hindi po yun yung pinag-uusapan natin dyan. Kung sa tingin ni S, fair yun at the moment na nabenta yun, ibig sabihin, yun yung sa tingin niya equivalent nung subject matter na binebenta niya. Okay, so, actually, ang sagot natin sa specific case na ito ay hindi po siya or hindi niya po na-violate yung essential character. Okay, so in this case, hindi niya po na-violate yung ating essential characteristic of being a commutative contract. Okay? How about this one? Okay? So another example which is related dun sa nauna. S wants to sell his car because he needed money. S thinks that a fair price for the car would be 1,000 pesos. B bought the car for the said amount. S later on found out that the current market value or fair price of the laptop is 700. Okay, laptop. Okay, laptop, this is car. We are talking about the car. So, na-copy paste lang natin yan. Okay. So, S later on found out the current market for a fair price of the car is 750,000. Thus, this situation violates the essential characteristic of a contract of sale. The answer is yes, na-violate niya. Because in this case, grabe naman, sino yung taong magbebenta ng 1,000 pesos lang na kotse? Kotse ang pinag-usapan natin eh. Okay? Malayo naman yung 1,000. Okay, so in this case, ang contract of sale po natin ay invalid. Void po ito at siguro ito ay magiging contract of donation. Okay? So in this case, magiging contract of donation po ito. Next, last, okay, subtopic natin for this specific topic. So sale is title and not mode. Okay. So, the seller assumes the obligation to transfer ownership and to deliver the thing sold, but the real right of the ownership is transferred only by tradition or delivery thereof to the buyer. Okay. So, actually, ganito yan. At the moment na ma-perfect yung sale, it doesn't matter kung yung seller ay, tawag dito, siyang may-ari ng binibenta niya. Okay. Ang importante, sa time of delivery. Okay. At the time of delivery, kailangan niyang magawa yung dalawang obligations niya na nabanggit natin kanina. Number 1, to transfer the title. Pangalawa, to deliver the possession. So, yun yung dalawang gagawin niya at the time of delivery. Pero at the time of perfection, which is, for example, hindi pa yun yung time of delivery, okay lang kahit hindi niya pa magawa yung dalawang yun. Okay? Okay lang na hindi niya magawa yung dalawang yun na obligations niya. Dahil, magmamatter yung dalawang obligations niyang yun at the time of delivery. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Okay? Yun yung explanation ng specific characteristic na ito. Okay? Okay. So, we're down to the last topic. We have sale versus other types of contracts. Okay. So, tignan natin. Okay. So, i-distinguish po natin ng contract to other types of or other similar contracts such as donation, pangalawa, barter, next, contract for a piece of work, next, agency to sell or agency to buy, panglima, dasyon and pago, and panganim, contract to sell. Okay, contract to sell. Okay, so number 1, contract of donation. So, very simple dahil ang isang contract of sale ay number 1, onerous. Okay, nasabi na natin yan kanina. Onerous siya, however, a donation is gratuitous. Next, a sale is perfected by mere consent. Okay? However, ang donation, isa po siyang generally solemn contract. Okay? Meaning may mga certain formalities na kailangan mag-comply pa yung mga different parties for its validity. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po yan. Yan yung two major difference between a contract of sale and a contract of donation. Next, we will differentiate barter from sale. So, before that, we will define barter muna. So, by barter or exchange, one of the parties binds himself to give one thing in consideration of the other's promise to give another thing. Whereas, by sale of one of the parties binds himself, okay, by sale, kapag sale naman, One party binds himself to deliver a thing in consideration of the other's undertaking to pay the price. Okay, so kung maalala nyo dito sa contract of sale, may price, tapos may delivery of the thing. Pero dito sa barter, another thing, tapos merong parang kumbaga main thing, yun yung ano natin, subject matter, tapos may another thing. Okay? Okay, pero actually parang kumbaga dalawa ang subject matter kasi natin sa barter of sale, barter or exchange. However, sa sale, ang elements po natin dyan ay subject matter and cost. Okay, so ganun siya. Okay, so paano natin, ano talagang pagkakaiba ng barter or sale? Actually, halos walang pagkakaiba tong sale at barter. Kasi kung minsan may mga chances are pwede tayong ma-confuse ng isang problem. So, hindi kasi ibig sabihin na walang money na involved, automatically barter na yon. Hindi po ganun yun. Okay? So, may certain rules tayo na susundan dito. Number 1, manifest intention of the parties. Okay? For example, wala tayong binanggit na tawag dito na specific type of contract, kundi binanggit lang sa isang problem na tinransfer ni A kay B yung kanyang, let's say, cellphone kapalit ng isang, what do you call this? Another cellphone. Okay? So, kung walang intention, pupunta tayo din sa second rule. However, kapag binanggit sa problem na S sold his cellphone, pero ang kapalit, another cellphone, that is still a contract of sale kahit na walang money na involved. Dahil yung intention ang tinitignan dyan. Okay? Dahil yung intention ang tinitignan po dyan. Okay? Number 2, okay, paano kung hindi natin makakita yung intention? Okay, so titignan natin siya in terms of monetary consideration. Okay, kapag ang monetary consideration ay tawag dito, ay mas maliit, or balik na rin natin, kasi yun yung nandito, where the value of the thing given as part of the consideration exceeds the amount of money given or its equivalent, okay, yun po ay barter. So, for example, swap cellphone, okay? Swap cellphone, iPhone 12 to iPhone 7, parang ganun. Okay, tapos, tawag dito, let's say, yung value ng iPhone 12 ay, actually, it doesn't matter kung magkano yung value ng iPhone 12, okay? So, swinap ko yung iPhone 12 ko sa iPhone 7, pero magdadagdag si iPhone 7, yung magbibigay ng iPhone 7 ng pera. So, let's say, ang dinagdag niya ay 10,000. Okay. So, let's say yung value ng iPhone 7 ay 10,000 din. So, parang 20,000 overall. Yun ay i-consider po nating barter. Dahil hindi po kasi, yun po ay i-consider nating sale. Okay? Sale po yun. Kapag parehas yung amount. Kasi, sabi dito, magiging barter lang yun kapag yung value ng thing, okay, ay malalampasan niya yung amount of money. Kaso hindi, parehas lang sila. 'Di ba? 10,000, 10,000. So, yun po ay isang contract of sale. Magiging barter lang po yun kapag mas mataas yung money, or I mean yung value ng thing na involved compared to the money. So, tatandaan nyo po yun. Pero, before this, yung number 2, mauuna muna yung intention. Kaya kapag sa problem, nabanggit yung word na sale, sell, parang ganon, buyer, seller, nabanggit yung mga yun, ibig sabihin, ang intention doon ay sale. Okay? Next, we have a contract for a piece of work. So, ano ba ang contract for a piece of work? So, tignan natin. By the contract for a piece of work, the contractor binds himself to execute a piece of work for the employer in consideration of a certain price or compensation. The contractor may either employ only his labor or skill or also furnish the material. Okay? So, ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng contract for a piece of work sa contract of sale? So, usually, nagkakaroon tayo ng problems dito. Okay, di ba? Whether, in determining whether it is a contract for a piece of work or contract of sale. Kung minsan kasi, pag sinabi natin contract for a piece of work, yun yung bibilihin mo parang pinasadya. Okay, pinasadya. Okay. So, under Philippine laws, ano ba yung sinusundan natin? Or ano ba yung rule natin dito? Okay, so before that, puntahan muna natin yung tatlong schools of thought regarding the contract for a piece of work. So, number 1, we have the Massachusetts rule. Pangalawa, New York rule. And lastly, yung English rule. Okay. So, pag-aralan natin tong tatlong ito by using an example. Okay. So, B wants to buy a large hoodie or large size hoodie from S Garments Company. There is no available stock at the moment for the said size. Although, nagmamanufacture naman si S Garments Company ng small, medium, and large hoodies, pero at that moment, wala. Okay? So, gagawa pa lang sila. The hoodie is still to be manufactured but B is willing to wait and paid S half the price. So, ang tanong, yung contract between B and S Garments Company, isa po ba yung contract of sale or isa po ba yung contract for a piece of work? So, depende po yan sa kung ano yung nag-a-apply na school of thought na, di ba, among these three. Massachusetts, New York, or English rule. Okay, unahin po natin yung Massachusetts rule. Ang sinasabi po ng Massachusetts rule, okay, kapag yung isang bagay ay manufacture within the ordinary course of the business, yun po ay contract of sale, regardless kung yun po ay available na or hindi pa. So, in this case, nabanggit natin kanina na si S Garments Company ay parang kumbaga normally nagmamanufacture siya ng small, medium, and large, and nagkataon lang na walang available stock yung large dahil siguro naubusan. Okay. So, in this case, kapag ina-apply natin si Massachusetts rule, ito po ay isang contract of sale between B and S Garments Company. Okay. Next naman, ano naman yung New York rule? Okay. Yung New York rule naman, regardless of kung minamanufacture ba siya at the ordinary course of business, it doesn't matter. Para sa New York rule, kung available yung product at the moment, makukuha niya kaagad, yun po ay isang contract of sale. Pero kung yun ay hindi pa available at ima-manufacture pa lang, yun po ay isang contract for a piece of work. Okay? Yun po ang pagdating sa New York rule. So, in this case, okay, dahil wala pa, hindi pa available sa stock, gagawin pa lang, ito po ay contract for a piece of work according to the New York rule. Okay? And lastly, we have the English rule. Ang English rule naman po, okay, nakasalalay po whether it is a contract of sale or contract for a piece of work sa cost na ginamit. Okay? Cost na nagamit sa pag-manufacture ng specific thing na yan. Okay, so kung yung hoodie na yan, mas mataas ang cost na nagamit mo sa materials na ginamit, yun po ay isang contract of sale. However, kapag mas mataas ang labor cost, yan po ay isang contract for a piece of work. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo po. Okay. So, alin dyan sa tatlong yan ang nag-a-apply sa Philippines? Ang nag-a-apply po sa Philippines ay yung first rule natin, which is the Massachusetts rule. So, in this case, under Philippine law, itong example natin ay isang contract of sale. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa difference between a contract of sale versus and the agency to sell or buy. Very simple lang dahil pag agency, wala talagang sale dyan. Kumbaga, tinatransfer mo lang yung goods na yun sa iyong agent, di ba, para ibenta. Okay? So, ano ba yung effect or ano ba yung nangyayari or ano ba yung mga differences when it comes to sale and the agency to sell? Okay. So, ang concept kasi ng agency to sell or buy, ang nangyayari, nagtatransfer si principal, okay, ng kanyang mga properties kay agent para ibenta ito ni agent in behalf of the principal. Okay. So, a contract of agency is one that essentially establishes a representative capacity in the person of the agent on behalf of the principal and one characterized as highly fiduciary. So, ano ba yung mga differences? In sale, title to the goods is transferred to the buyer upon delivery of the thing sold. Okay? Pag agency to sell or buy naman, title to the goods is retained by the owner despite the delivery of the goods to the agent. Next naman, in sale, the buyer is required to pay the price. Siyempre, dahil obligation niya yun. However, in a contract of agency to sell or buy, the agent is required to turn over to the principal the price of the goods which he received from the buyer. Siyempre, ang magbebenta si agent. Pero in behalf lang yun ng principal. So basically, ang contract po natin ay between kay principal and the third person pa rin or si buyer. Hindi po agent and buyer ang nakipagkontrata. Ang nakipagkontrata ay si principal and the buyer na ni-represent ni agent. Okay? And lastly, in sale, the recipient or the buyer of the property may do so or may do with the property as he pleases. Kahit anong gawin niya, syempre sa kanya na yun. However, sa agency, the principal retains control of the property. So, ang parang kumbaga authority niya lang ay ibenta. So, hindi niya pwedeng gawin ng kung ano mang gusto niyang gawin doon sa specific property na yun. Kung hindi niya mabenta, ang obligation niya ay ibalik yun kay principal. Okay, next, we will differentiate sale and dasyon and pago. So, ano nga ba ulit yung ibig sabihin ng dasyon and pago? Pag sinabi kasi nating dasyon and pago, yun yung ano, kumbaga, inonovate natin yung isang certain obligation na aside from monetary, yung ibabayad, ano na lang, specific thing na lang yung ibabayad. Okay? So, ang pagkakaiba, in a contract of sale, there is no pre-existing credit or utang. While in dasyon and pago, there is a pre-existing credit. Okay? Na kailangan nating ma-extinguish. Diba? Under, ano ito kung maalala nyo, under payment or performance sa extinguishment of obligations. So, balikan po natin yon. Okay, next. A sale creates obligations. Diba? Siyempre, diba? Once na na-perfect siya, yun nga, may dalawang obligation si seller and then si buyer, meron siyang isang major obligation. Pero sa dasyon and pago, ang ginagawa ay in-extinguish po natin yung obligation. Next, in sale, the cost or consideration is the price and the delivery of the object. In dasyon and pago, the cost or consideration is the extinguishment of the obligation and delivery of the object given. Okay, so very simple lang. Next, in sale, there is far greater freedom in fixing the price. Dahil yun nga, pwede nyo pag negotiatean yung price or yung presyo. However, sa dasyon and pago, okay, meron na kasing currently existing na utang. So, dun lang tayo. Around those tawag dito, yun lang yung ma-extinguish din na utang, di ba? So, regardless of kung ano yung magiging value ng property na ibabayad mo, ma-extinguish yung buong utang. Okay? And lastly, we will differentiate contract of sale sa contract to sell. So, in a contract of sale, the title to the property passes to the vendee upon delivery. Di ba? Nasabi na natin yan. In a contract to sell, ownership is by agreement reserved to the vendor or the seller and is not passed to the vendee until full payment. So, malinaw na malinaw. Kapag contract to sell, full payment. Okay? Full payment po ang general rule natin when it comes to that. So, kung hindi man full payment, may mga certain conditions pa. Okay? Next naman, in contract of sale, non-payment of the price is what we call a negative resolutory condition. O ibig sabihin, dahil una nang nabuo yung contract natin, ano ba ang ginagawa ng isang resolutory condition, di ba? Ini-extinguish ang isang contract, di ba? Yun, or obligation ang ginagawa niya, di ba? However, kapag contract to sell, full payment of the price is a positive suspensive condition. Kapag suspensive, yan po ay kapag nangyari ang isang suspensive condition, mag-a-arise yung obligation kung maalala nyo or mag-a-arise yung contract. Okay? Yun po ang pagkakaiba ng resolutory and suspensive. Pag resolutory, may extinguish yung currently existing. Dahil yun nga, nauuna ng ma-perfect yung contract of sale. However, in a contract to sell, napa-perfect lang siya or parang kumbaga nagpapass lang yung ownership upon full payment. So, kapag nabayaran na, that's the time na magkakaroon lang ng tawag dito ng mga obligation. So, ayan, suspensive condition po siya. And lastly, in a contract of sale, the risk of loss is on the buyer. Syempre, na-transfer na yung ownership. However, in a contract to sell, the risk of loss is on the seller. Okay? Syempre, kasi, kung hindi pa nagkakaroon ng full payment, kay seller pa rin yung property. So, kapag nawala yung property, yun ay loss ni seller. Okay? So, ayan. So, dito tayo nagtatapos sa ating law on sales. So, umpisa pa lamang ito ng ating law on sales na topic. And marami tayong mga susunod na i-upload sa series na ito. So, abangan po natin and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So, see you and goodbye.